The palace of Dracoria Prime was massive, carved into living cliffs that glimmered like molten metal under the twin suns. Inside, a wing of the palace was dedicated entirely to the nursery of baby dragons, small, squirming, and surprisingly loud. Emma Harlow, human envoy and caretaker, had been assigned an unusual task: help feed the hatchlings. She had no prior experience with dragons. Humans were generally considered fragile around them. Yet here she was, balancing a glowing amber vial filled with dragon milk, trying not to get scorched. A tiny dragon, no bigger than a large dog, wailed. A high-pitched squeal that echoed through the nursery. Its siblings whined in sympathy. Emma froze. Okay, deep breath. Humans can do this, she muttered. The hatchling flopped onto her lap, wings twitching nervously. She held out the bottle. The dragon's tiny tongue lapped at it cautiously. You got this, Emma whispered, though her hands shook. After a few tentative sips, the baby relaxed, curling against her arm. Emma exhaled. See? Not so bad. But what she didn't know was that someone was watching. From the balcony above, Princess Serafina Vera, heir to the dragon throne, leaned on the railing. Her golden eyes glimmered with amusement. Humans often faltered around dragons, she had noticed. Most ran screaming, dropped the babies, or angered them. But this human, small, fragile, yet patient, was calm. Even gentle. The baby dragons had responded instinctively. Serafina tilted her head. Interesting, she murmured. Perhaps she is worth observing. Her mother, Queen Malthra, had assigned this test for a reason. Any human hoping to serve, or even marry into Dracoria, must prove they could care for the future of the realm. Emma had no idea she was being tested. Emma spent hours feeding, comforting, and cleaning up after the hatchlings. Some were mischievous. One chewed the corner of her sleeve, another sneezed fire sparks onto the floor, and a third tried to climb onto her shoulder. But she handled them all with patience, improvising with gentle words, soft movements, and careful timing. By the end of the day, she was covered in dragon milk and soot, but the dragons were calm, napping in her arms. She leaned back, exhausted. Humans really can survive anything. Apparently, she whispered. Serafina, still observing, was impressed. A human who didn't panic around dragons? Rare. A human who could bond with them? Revolutionary. Later, Serafina descended into the nursery, moving quietly. You handled them well, she said softly, startling Emma. Emma jumped. Oh, Your Highness. I'm just trying not to hurt them. Serafina smiled faintly. That is exactly what they want. Protection, care, respect. Qualities most humans lack. Emma laughed nervously. Guess I'm exceptional, then? Serafina's eyes glimmered with something like mischief. Perhaps. But remember, this is only a test. Emma didn't know it yet. Every hatchling was observing her as part of the Queen's plan. Queen Malthra was watching from secret chambers, judging which humans could interact with dragons, and perhaps which could one day become consorts or allies. The smallest actions, patience, courage, empathy, would determine her future in ways she couldn't yet imagine. As Emma carried the last sleepy hatchling to its nest, she whispered, You're all going to be fine. Humans aren't so bad. Somewhere above, Serafina smiled. She had never expected a human to pass this first quiet test. And somewhere in the shadows, the Queen nodded silently. By the next morning, the nursery had erupted into chaos. Baby dragons of all shapes and colors scampered, hissed, and flapped their tiny wings. One had climbed to the ceiling and was dangling upside down, squeaking indignantly. Another had tipped over a basin of glowing dragon milk, sending a puddle across the polished stone floor. Emma Harlow, human envoy and now accidental dragon babysitter, stepped carefully over the spilled milk. All right, she muttered. So, humans can improvise. We'll call this adaptive caregiving. She bent down and extended a hand to the dangling hatchling. Hey there, little one. No one's getting hurt. The dragon squirmed, tiny claws scraping her sleeve, but Emma held her steady. With a gentle tilt, she set it safely on the floor. Serafina Vera watched from the balcony above, wings folded, eyes sharp and amused. Her mother, Queen Malthra, had designed this nursery test to be subtle but telling. Could a human handle multiple dragons at once? Could they remain calm under stress and chaos? Could they improvise solutions in real time? Emma was passing all of them without realizing it. Serafina whispered to herself, intrigued. Most humans would have panicked by now. They'd have dropped a hatchling, screamed, or fled. Yet she adapts. It wasn't just adaptability, it was human ingenuity. She rearranged spilled milk with a folded cloth, distracted a mischievous hatchling with a dangling toy, and soothed another with soft words. The dragons, sensing her calm confidence, gradually quieted. Emma had just settled one sleepy hatchling in its nest when a sudden squeal erupted behind her. A hatchling had activated its tiny flame glands, producing sparks that hit the ceiling and scorched a nearby wall. "Oh no," Emma muttered, tossing a fireproof blanket over it. The sparks died down, leaving a faint smell of smoke. Serafina descended quietly, her expression unreadable. Most humans would have panicked or worse, injured the hatchling trying to stop it. Emma laughed nervously, brushing soot from her hair. I guess I'm lucky." Serafina tilted her head. "No, not luck. Awareness. Calm under pressure. Empathy. You are extraordinary." As the day wore on, Emma began to recognize each hatchling's personality. One loved to hide and test patience. Another was curious and mischievous, constantly trying to chew on her sleeves. The smallest, a timid green hatchling, always approached her gently, wings trembling. By the end of the day, Emma could calm, feed, and entertain all of them simultaneously. Tired but triumphant, she sank into a chair, dragon milk smeared on her hands and clothes. "You know," she said to the sleeping hatchlings, "humans might not be dragons, but we can care too. And apparently, we're good at it." Serafina, observing, allowed herself a small smile. Unknown to Emma, each dragon's behavior was being recorded and evaluated. Queen Malthra's magical sensors measured reaction time, problem solving, patience, empathy. Emma's every move, folding blankets, redirecting hatchlings, soft cooing, and calm corrections, scored higher than any previous human who had attempted the test. Serafina whispered, eyes wide, "Mother will be pleased if she notices." At one point, a dragon hatchling shivered, frightened by a loud clap of thunder outside the palace walls. Emma immediately scooped it up, holding it close, whispering gently, "You're safe. I'm here. No one's going to hurt you." The little dragon pressed its forehead to hers, wings fluttering softly. Serafina's eyes softened. Humans, their courage isn't always in battle. Sometimes it's just heart. HFY was not about strength or claws. This was the human ability to comfort, to persist, and to inspire trust even in the most alien beings. By the evening, Serafina approached Emma directly. "You handled them remarkably," she said, voice quiet but firm. "The Queen has rarely seen a human this capable. And yet, you do not know you are being tested." Emma blinked, startled. "Tested? Me? I'm just feeding the babies." Serafina shook her head, wings rustling. "No, you are proving more than that. Patience, courage, empathy, resourcefulness. These qualities will serve you well in our world. And in ours, they are rare." Emma felt a warmth in her chest she couldn't explain. Recognition from a dragon princess herself. The nursery was quiet now, too quiet. Emma Harlow leaned back on a chair, wiping dragon milk from her hands. The hatchlings, exhausted from the day's chaos, were curled into small piles, wings flickering lightly as they slept. Then came a faint rumble, different from thunder or machinery. The room vibrated subtly, and the shadows deepened. Emma stiffened. That's new from above." A shadow descended, immense and majestic. A single massive claw touched the polished floor, and the air shimmered with heat. Emma Harlow, a deep, resonant voice intoned. You have cared for my children. You have not panicked. You have persisted where others failed. Emma's eyes widened. Why, Your Highness? The Queen. Queen Maelthravera stepped into the nursery, wings unfurled like molten sails, eyes glowing gold. Her presence radiated authority and latent power. Emma swallowed hard. I was just feeding the hatchlings. That's all. Ah, Maelthra said, studying her with sharp eyes. That is what you think. But there is more to this trial than mere feeding. With a flick of her claw, Maelthra summoned a magical projection. A swirling illusion of hundreds of hatchlings, crying and flailing, all trying to reach Emma at once. Chaos, the Queen said, voice echoing. This is how our young are. How will you respond when multiplied 100-fold? Emma froze for only a moment. Then she did what humans did best. She improvised. She moved carefully, picking up the illusionary hatchlings, calming them with gentle words. She organized them into safe clusters, improvising feeding and care even though they weren't real. She comforted each, recognizing patterns, responding to fear, and creating calm in the midst of impossible chaos. Maelthra watched silently, eyes narrowing slightly. The human didn't falter. She adapted. She led. She cared. Emma realized she could use a combination of environment and logic. She placed soft mats in strategic areas, guiding the hatchlings away from danger. She used glowing vials to simulate warmth and light, creating comfort zones. She sang softly, a human lullaby she remembered from childhood. Slowly, the illusory chaos began to settle. The projections dimmed as if acknowledging her success. Maelthra's eyes gleamed with approval. Interesting. Most humans would have panicked, harmed the hatchlings, or fled. You lead them, even in illusion. Emma exhaled. Humans aren't perfect, but we try, we adapt, and we care. Seraphina, perched nearby, wings partially folded, couldn't hide her astonishment. This human, she is extraordinary, the princess murmured to herself. Her courage isn't loud or violent. It's subtle, persistent, and unwavering. And she doesn't even know it's a test. Emma caught her gaze. I'm doing my best. That's all I can do. Seraphina's expression softened, a rare smile touching her lips. Perhaps the Queen underestimated humans, until now. Maelthra stepped closer, massive claws stopping just short of Emma. You have proven more than patience and skill. You have proven heart, judgment, courage, and above all, respect for life beyond your own species. Emma bowed her head reflexively. I just want to help. I never expected praise from a queen. Maelthra chuckled, a low rumble like distant thunder. Then you are truly human. Humans do not act for recognition. They act because they must. She extended a claw, touching Emma's shoulder lightly. You are ready for the next stage. You may stay in the nursery, yes, but know this, the final test is not of feeding or patience. It is of courage, creativity, and trust. And it comes soon. Emma nodded, her heart pounding. I'll do my best. I promise. No one, not even Emma, realized the next stage would arrive almost immediately. From a hidden chamber, one of the older dragon hatchlings, a mischievous amber-colored creature, had escaped. It had wandered into the nursery's storage room, knocking over flammable oils and glowing powders. Suddenly, the room ignited. Tiny flames flickered dangerously close to the hatchlings' nests. Emma's eyes widened. Oh no! This is bad. This is really bad. Without hesitation, she sprang into action. She scooped the sleeping hatchlings into her arms, prioritizing the youngest and weakest. She smothered flames with mats and fire-resistant blankets, improvising tools as she moved. She calmed panicking hatchlings with soft words and gentle gestures, keeping chaos from spiraling further. All the while, Maelthra and Seraphina observed silently. Emma didn't just react. She thought. She noticed airflow from the open windows and used it to guide smoke and flames away from the nests. She employed trays as makeshift barriers. She coordinated movements carefully, never letting a dragon become trapped or injured. By the time the fire was extinguished, the nursery was intact, the hatchlings unharmed, and Emma, covered in soot and dragon milk, stood triumphant. Maelthra's voice broke the silence. Remarkable. You did not just survive. You led, you protected, and you adapted. You embody what it means to be human. Emma, exhausted, whispered, I didn't think I could do it. Serafina leaned closer. You did more than think. You acted. That's why humans are unforgettable. Emma didn't just react. She thought. She noticed airflow from the open windows and used it to guide smoke and flames away from the nests. She employed trays as makeshift barriers. She coordinated movements carefully, never letting a dragon become trapped or injured. By the time the fire was extinguished, the nursery was intact, the hatchlings unharmed, and Emma, covered in soot and dragon milk, stood triumphant. Maelthra's voice broke the silence. Remarkable. You did not just survive. You led, you protected, and you adapted. You embody what it means to be human. Emma, exhausted, whispered, I didn't think I could do it. Serafina leaned closer. You did more than think. You acted. That's why humans are unforgettable. The nursery was quiet once more. Baby dragons slept peacefully in their nests, wings flickering in rhythmic breaths. Emma Harlow sat cross-legged on the polished floor, still covered in soot, dragon milk, and a light sheen of sweat. Her arms ached, but her heart was full. She had passed every challenge, every test of patience and ingenuity. At least, she thought she had. Then came the soft, almost imperceptible sound of wings spreading. Queen Maelthra Vera descended from the shadows, larger than life, wings unfurled, eyes gleaming like molten gold. Her presence filled the entire room, warm yet powerful, commanding respect without a word. Emma Harlow, she intoned, voice resonant and calm. You have fed, soothed, and protected my children. You have endured chaos, fire, and tests designed to break lesser humans. You have shown patience, courage, and ingenuity. But the final trial is not of care or skill. It is of heart, judgment, and loyalty. Emma stood, nerves coiling in her stomach. I'll do whatever you ask, Your Highness. Maelthra's eyes softened slightly. It is not a request. It is an opportunity. One of my hatchlings, the eldest, will challenge you. If you succeed, you will have my trust, and the trust of Dracoria itself. Emma blinked. A challenge? Like combat? Not merely combat, Maelthra replied. A test of resourcefulness, courage, and compassion. Do you understand? Emma swallowed. I understand. From the far corner of the nursery, a large amber hatchling stirred. Its wings flared, eyes bright and sharp. It leaped toward Emma with surprising speed. Most humans would have panicked. Emma didn't. She analyzed. The hatchling's speed was high, but predictable. Its movements hinted at curiosity as much as aggression. Panic would trigger the dragon's defensive reflexes. Calm would allow her to guide it. Emma crouched slightly, hands extended. Easy just like before. No harm. The hatchling charged, claws extended. Emma sidestepped, letting its momentum carry it past her. She gently tapped its side, redirecting it toward a safe mat. The dragon squealed but stopped. Emma gave a soft, encouraging murmur. Slowly, it circled her again, testing. Maelthra observed, intrigued. Most humans would have tried to overpower the hatchling or flee. Emma did neither. She used her environment, mats, toys, and safe zones. She engaged the dragon's curiosity, not its aggression. She improvised strategies mid-action, anticipating the hatchling's movements. Each pass, each dodge, each gentle correction taught the hatchling trust. By the third circuit, it allowed her to lift it, wings tucked, head nuzzling her shoulder. Impressive, Maelthra said softly. You have proven courage, patience, and compassion under pressure. But most importantly, you have shown trustworthiness and heart. These are qualities no strength alone can produce. Serafina Vera, watching nearby, stepped forward, wings partially extended. "You have exceeded every expectation, Emma," she said. "Not because you are strong or skilled, but because you are human. You persist. You improvise. You care when others would abandon hope." Emma smiled faintly, brushing the hatchling's forehead. "I just did what I could. I wasn't thinking about praise. I just wanted them safe." Serafina's eyes softened. "That is exactly why you succeeded. You are extraordinary." Maelthra's massive wings shifted, creating a warm, protective glow. She approached Emma slowly, gaze unwavering. "Emma Harlow," she said, voice deep but gentle. "You have passed the final trial. You have proven yourself capable, trustworthy, and courageous. You have earned the trust of Dracoria. From this day forward, you may remain here, not as a guest, not merely as a caretaker, but as an honored member of our court. And should you choose, you may take your place as an ally, even a consort of those who respect the dragons and their realm." Emma's heart leapt. I don't know what to say. "Thank you, Your Highness. I will not disappoint you." Maelthra inclined her massive head. "I do not doubt it. Humans are often underestimated, Emma. You have proven that courage, heart, and ingenuity surpass expectations, species, and limitations." HFY had triumphed, not with weaponry, not with brute strength, but with human resilience, intellect, and empathy. Later, as the sun dipped behind the molten cliffs of Dracoria Prime, Emma sat in the nursery with Serafina by her side. "You know," Emma said, cradling a sleepy hatchling, "I never imagined humans could win the trust of dragons, let alone their queen." Serafina smiled, eyes bright. "You didn't just win their trust. You proved that humans can inspire loyalty, respect, and even love, without ever raising a weapon." Emma laughed softly, exhausted but happy. "I guess that's HFY in action?" "Yes," Serafina said, her voice warm. "And it's the reason I will always stand by you, human." Even the hatchlings stirred, nudging Emma affectionately. It was as though they recognized her as one of their own.